You're watching the New Killer series. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Last of Us franchise and what Behavior Interactive would need to do to license a Last of Us chapter into Dead by Daylight. There are so many candidates for interesting killers from this franchise that would match the DBD aesthetic pretty perfectly. When guessing which killer from The Last of Us would make the most sense for DBD, I think using Kote's insight on which killer they decided for Resident Evil can help answer this question.
When we started working with Capcom, that's been sort of our pattern so far, working with licensors. We come at them with a plan. We're like, this is what we have in mind, this is what inspired us, and this is what we'd like to do. And our plan was to present these characters, so Leon and Jill and the Nemesis. And we thought they were maybe the classics, or the not necessarily original or the only ones or the best ones,
just
but we
the
thought
right
they were
fit for this DLC. Yeah,
that's it. And we knew that they were great representatives of what Resident Evil is, and they're probably the ones that pop into most people's minds when you talk about these characters.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Schmuckles. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I also stream on Twitch on Wednesday and Sunday nights. The link for that is in the description below. When I looked online, I found the Last of Us DBD crossover concepts on DBD forums and Reddit. Most of the concepts focus on the Bloater as the new killer, and Joel Miller or Ellie Williams as the new survivor. There have been multiple fan-made videos on these survivors featuring them in Dead by Daylight. Really interesting to see. Also, there's many animations in The Last of Us that look like it could be used as a Mori for the Bloater. It's fascinating because there are so many different versions of the infected that could come into Dead by Daylight as the new killer. I reckon the Bloater or the Rat King would make the most sense. The Rat King might be the most deadly monster. It's a superorganism composed of multiple stalkers, clickers, and a bloater connected together. If a chapter like this ever came with a new map, I reckon St. Mary's Hospital would be a good option. The interior of the map could be the Firefly base. A little background: in June of 2013, The Last of Us was released. It's an action-adventure game played from the third-person perspective. The game follows Joel Miller as he travels across a post-apocalyptic United States, using firearms and other weapons to defend himself against hostile humans and cannibalistic creatures. This game was developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, which is a sub-company of Sony. Sony is a Japanese corporation and is based in Japan. Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann were chosen to lead development on The Last of Us. They were creative director and game director respectively. The Last of Us received universal acclaim. It's the 5th highest rated PlayStation 3 game on Metacritic. So on 2020, The Last of Us Part 2 came out. It was also developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It had improved gameplay and also received universal acclaim. On April 28, 2021, Naughty Dog creative director Neil Druckmann confirmed in a recent podcast episode for Script Apart that an outline for The Last of Us 3 exists. I don't think Druckmann wanted to reveal too much, but nonetheless, The Last of Us 3 is in development by Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog was actually acquired by Sony Computer Entertainment in 2001. So in order to license The Last of Us content into Dead by Daylight, Behavior Interactive would need to reach out to Naughty Dog. And Naughty Dog is actually a sub-company of Sony. So Matthew Kote would have to reach out to Sony. He would need to negotiate a contract with them in order to license any characters, maps, or any other content from The Last of Us. The Last of Us already had a collaboration with Blizzard Entertainment's Diablo 3. This was announced at E3 in 2014.
At PlayStation, we love us some shambling goodness, whether it's zombies, walkers, or the infected. Most of you know The Last of Us is coming to PS4. Yeah? But what you didn't know is that it's also going to be infecting Diablo 3 in the Ultimate Evil Edition launching August 19th. Yes. You'll be able to battle clickers, bloaters, and stalkers in an exclusive themed dungeon. And Blizzard has integrated them deeply into the game, so they have their own special attacks. I seriously cannot wait to play Adventure Mode.
So The Last of Us has been open to licensing their characters into other video games before. Ever since Behavior included The Last of Us in their player satisfaction survey, people have wondered if and when a Last of Us chapter would come into Dead by Daylight. If you want to see that video where we overviewed every possible license on Behavior's radar, you can click on the title above. If we take a look at the Naughty Dog Twitter, there are so many people from Behavior who follow this account. We see Matthew Kote, Mandy, Stephanie, as well as Behavior Interactive. Now, we did see people from Behavior and the performers from the Stranger Things follow each other on Twitter shortly before the Stranger Things chapter was announced. Therefore, The Last of Us could definitely be on the cards for a Dead by Daylight crossover in the near future. I reckon a chapter like this would probably introduce our second killer with zombies, aka the infected. Kote talked about his conversation with Capcom and zombies in this interview. This is the exact type of conversation he'd likely have with Naughty Dog if this crossover was to ever happen.
We were talking with Capcom about creating zombies, because for us, Resident Evil needed some zombies, like to really be, faithful to the source material. And they said, yeah, that's a really good idea. Make sure you use the Shamblers. Like we don't want the evolved zombies, the really
Crimson
smart.
Heads, yeah.
So they said, yeah, use the shamblers, basic zombies. And we're like, okay, well that's a little better, because it's okay if they're dumb. It's okay if they sort of get stuck sometimes. It's okay if they don't feel like they're smarter than you. They're shambling zombies.
Bringing in Nemesis into Dead by Daylight has opened the door to more zombie chapters. We know based on Hillbilly and Leatherface, behavior does like to reuse killer power mechanics. In fact, Kote talked about this in an interview.
Once in a while, we go and take a power that exists and then we put a spin on it. I think the first time we actually went back on an existing one was when we did Leatherface. And we did another chainsaw wielding killer, but it plays very, very differently. Leatherface and Hillbilly are certainly not the same power. And then we keep saying, oh yeah, we should reuse things, but every time the goal is to make sure that players who have, like hundreds of hours into the game, or thousands, like some of our hardcore streamers that we have, we want them to be surprised. We want them to feel like they have to relearn stuff, and that's when we know we've done it. And I think that with Nemesis coming in, there's definitely that aspect. Like people, you're right, the base power, the tentacle, I mean, it's not a huge departure, but the whole thing with the zombies wandering the map and surprising you in the corner somewhere, it's just absolutely amazing to see the surprise and to see people go, oh my God, they did that? Like, yes, that's the whole point. Horror should always sort of have a surprise in store for you.
The fact that Sony, a company based in Japan, owns this IP, there are possible avenues for collaboration since Behavior has already licensed 2 Japanese video games into Dead by Daylight. These Japanese-based game devs are closely connected. In August of this year, the former Capcom USA CEO left Capcom and joined Sony. His name is Kiichiro Urata. He was signed by Sony as the head of the Japan-Asia Partner Development and Relations Division. Urata was credited as the chief executive officer on Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 3. Based on this article that I found, his position with Capcom was labeled as head of Capcom USA and Europe business divisions. He left Capcom in August and his position at Sony was announced in September. This guy was definitely a major contributor to Resident Evil, and Behavior will probably have the connections to reach out to him if they want. If anything, we've learned that all of these Japanese-based video game companies work very closely together and are probably very well connected. I'm not sure how connected Urata would be with the DBD Resident Evil collab, but since Behavior could probably easily connect with him, this is a possible avenue for Behavior to reach out to Sony for The Last of Us. Fun fact, on Urata's LinkedIn, it says he graduated from McGill University from Montreal, Quebec, which is where Behavior is based. So how telling is an avenue like this? I'm not really sure, but this is definitely what a business connection probably looks like in the video game industry. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. We've also already made licensing videos on major video game franchises like The Evil Within, Dead Space, and Outlast. You can click on the title above to view that playlist. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.